I'm disappointed in myself, and you should be too. Not in you. I mean, you might have done something that you know, that's fine, that's between you and your God. But really, I'm saying be disappointed in me. Because I never shy away on this channel from talking about things that I love, whether from my childhood or something more recent. But to this date, for some weird reason, I've never talked about 1988's Beetlejuice. So let's rectify that, shall we? I loved this as a kid. I had the two toys that I definitely remember. One was the sort of fair thing with the weird tent head, and also the crushed velvet suit with the small head. It was like a little wheel that you could turn the head on. It was great. I loved both of those. They're probably in a landfill somewhere now because I was a kid, lost them, whatever. But this really, was such an important part of my growing up. I was attached to it. I loved the cartoon series afterwards as well. And of course, we've got Danny Elfman's music, which I've loved for years. We've got Tim Burton directing, which, this pretty much launched his career as we know it. This is why he did Batman, why he got that gig. So I've loved this for years, and yet I've never talked about it. But this wasn't Burton's story. The story was written by, not Malcolm McDowell, I keep wanting to say that, Michael McDowell and Larry Wilson, with a script by McDowell and Warren Scarron. And of course it stars Gina Davis, Alec Baldwin, Michael Keaton, Catherine O'Hara, Winona Ryder, and someone who I'm loath to talk about because of various issues later in life, although I do respect the fact that they owned up to certain things that they did. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go and look it up on your own time. I don't really want to give much airtime to it. But by the by, this film was very much an enjoyable piece to watch. I've loved it for years. I watched it again recently and thought to myself, again, why haven't I covered this before? But then made a realisation that I wouldn't have had before. So it actually gave me a way to, I guess, justify talking about it now. So maybe I've done myself a favour. Because this film has a lot. There's great comedy. All of the lead actors and a lot of the supporting roles have great comic timing, and the whole Calypso scene, absolutely brilliant. Everyone involved in that does a great job. It's got great music, of course, again, going Calypso and all that, Harry Belafonte's music. My interest and love of that is because of this. Anytime I hear that music, I have Beetlejuice flashbacks in my brain. That's it, I really, really enjoy all of that music because of this. And it's got a great sort of tale, but I realised something this time round, that it is a tale of acceptance. All of the conflict in this film would be avoided if people accepted their circumstances or other people. Obviously, it would be a very boring film, but at its heart, it is about acceptance. The whole situation at the start, when the Deetses move in, if the Maitlands had just accepted that, no conflict, no issues. There may have been conflict down the line, granted, but it could have been a lot sweeter. And again, at various points after they got the help from Juno, again, if they reached a compromise, etc. And I guess the involvement of Wait. No, I'm not saying it a third time. I'm going to try and avoid it. We'll call him from now on. Or the bioexorcist. But he does obviously throw a spanner in the works and creates, I guess, the end result, which is the positive. So whilst I said yes, acceptance would have prevented a lot of issues in the film, I don't think the compromise and the happy living environment that we see at the end would have been possible without that. So I'm a little conflicted. But at the end of the film, of course, we have the acceptance, we have the compromise, we have the Deetses living relatively happily with the Maitlands. In fact, the Maitlands are almost the parents of Lydia now, which is probably a problem, but we'll let that one slide. The fact that she comes home as well, and it's like, how did you do? It's like, yeah, ace the math test. Science, I wasn't going to dissect a frog or whatever it was, so I got a C. And they accept that. They understand that she stuck to her ethics and morals and didn't do something, even though she knew, or would at least believe, and did end up getting a lower grade. They don't penalise her for sticking to her morals. They accept who she is. And that includes the fact that she didn't want to do that. But there's a moment in the film that really gave me the linchpin to realise that this is about acceptance. And that's a moment where, obviously, Lydia we've seen throughout the film, who, by the way, as a side note, is meant to be apparently 14, So the whole wedding towards the end is very problematic, but let's not dwell on that too much. But Lydia is very much coded goth. She comes in clad in black, a funereal veil, the big sun hat that's black again, of course, taking photos of spiderwebs. Very much coded goth. But there's a moment where the Maitlands see her and, they're having this conversation. It's like,
I myself am strange and unusual.
You look like a regular girl to me.
and I was just sat there watching, again, this most recent time. And I was like, yes. The Maitlands are healthy parental figures who accept the children for what they are. You're a girl. You're doing weird things to express yourself. We've all done that, I'm sure. You're exploring who you are. You're finding hats that fit. Not literally, necessarily. But you're finding who you are. You're experiencing various different things, and you're looking at the world through different lenses to see which one feels right to you. You're like a normal girl to us. And I realise that's what this film is. It's acceptance. But like I say, it is also a fun romp. There's a great comedy, like I say. Everyone here really brings their A game with the comedy. I've talked about the acceptance and the warm, fuzzy part of the film, but Michael Keaton just chews scenery as did it again, as the bioexorcist. He just really just goes for it. And there's so many moments that, yes, are problematic. They were even at the time. He's meant to be gross. He's meant to be unsettling. This is very much the id as a being. And there's a reason why they were warned off using his services, shall we say. But he's just such a great performance. And again, this led to my appreciation of Michael Keaton as a funny man. But Gina Davis does really well, and so does Baldwin. Everyone here gives a great performance. I mean, Glenn Shadix, unfortunately, no longer with us. But he's brilliant as Otho. Just really sort of camping it up, with this kind of lovely southern... I mean, that's kind of his trademark, really, that little southern drawl, but very soft as well. It's very mellifluous, to use a fancy word that I never get to use very often. But it's right. It suits what his voice feels like to me. And like I say, Winona Ryder, I mean, I was 5 when this was released. So, growing up, I may have had feelings. She's meant to be 14, it's fine. I was growing up, and the actress was obviously older, but yeah, she's meant to be 14, it's fine for me, as a child, to start developing feelings. Let's just leave it at that. I don't want to get too personal. This was a fun romp with a warm heart, and eventually, who knows, we might get a sequel. It's been in the works for decades now. Pretty much from day one, there has been talk of a sequel, and it's constantly come up again, and then dropped out, and then come up again, dropped out. Michael Keaton's even had moments in interviews where he's gone in Showtime, I'm sure. I might be misremembering that, who knows. But it's one of those things that keeps happening, and if they're doing it just to cash in, I don't want it. If they're doing it to really honour the memory of the first one, and sort of go like, what's happening with these people now, I'm all for that. I will happily watch Beetlejuice 2. I've said it 3 times now, haven't I? Well, I'm going to end the video here before anything happens. So until next time, as always, thank you for watching, take care, and don't say his name 3 times.
It's showtime.